Miscommunication and misunderstanding cost. We've all experienced the frustration of listening to a very unclear speaker, or the frustration of being misunderstood ourselves. There's a financial cost as well. In his report, The Cost of Poor Communications, David Grossman surveyed 400 large companies of 100,000 employees or more. Poor communication costs these companies on average $62 million per year. For small companies of about 100 employees, it costs them an average of $420,000 per year. Big or small, miscommunication and misunderstanding have an interpersonal and financial cost. People are the lifeblood of your team and organization. To make sure they're communicating well, use these 8 practical strategies going from A to H. More on that coming up. Hi, I'm Michelle, a co-founder at Lead with Words. When we're not training Fortune 500 companies to lead and communicate more effectively, we're creating bite-sized videos for busy, ambitious professionals just like you who want to take their careers to the next level. To keep this video bite-sized, we won't cover workplace communication from A to Z, but we will cover it from A to H. Here are 8 practical strategies of excellent workplace communication. A. Ask clarifying questions. When you're not sure what someone means, ask, "What do you mean?" So what you're saying is, if I'm understanding you clearly, you're saying, "I don't fully understand what you mean. Could you try to explain it in a different way?" When you're done sharing your thoughts, follow up to see if your message was clear. Was I clear, or should I explain it differently? Or, does that make sense to everyone? Often for this question, I don't look for people to say no. I simply look for who isn't nodding or communicating a yes. If there is one person who isn't catching what I'm saying, they might not want to say so in a group setting. Don't single them out, just rephrase what you said more simply. B. Bridge knowledge gaps. We all suffer from the curse of knowledge. Once we learn things, especially things that become habit to us, we tend to think everyone has the same understanding we have. For example, we led a training for UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. They use a lot of acronyms internally. The name is even an acronym. In fact, the United Nations has an online manual that includes all of these acronyms and abbreviations and how to use them. When I worked at ECLAC, the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, a branch of the United Nations based in Santiago, Chile, I experienced this firsthand. Internally, we all understood these acronyms, but when communicating with an external stakeholder, we had to use the full version of the acronym. Knowledge gaps don't only include the lingo of your company, but the industry or function-specific knowledge that you have that your audience might not know. When working with Mercedes-Benz research and development engineers earlier this year, we helped a participant tailor his presentation to his counterpart on the design team. Engineers and designers live in very different worlds. It's this gap in professional knowledge that can often lead to miscommunication. By becoming aware of these gaps and adding additional background information and explanation when needed, this engineer was able to craft a persuasive, relevant presentation that the designer fully understood. C. Clarify expectations. We exist within a framework of communication, expectation, action, where each one of these things is influencing the other. One challenge is that people enter the team's framework with their own expectations based on previous communication or actions, which you and the others on the team may not be aware of. Often expectations are not explicitly communicated, hence the previous point on knowledge gaps. For some reason, we expect other people to know our expectation, and that is one bad expectation to have. The two most important expectations to clarify are purpose and responsibilities. What is the purpose of our communication? Why are we holding this meeting? Why am I presenting today? What is this update about? From a bigger perspective, what is our team really trying to accomplish? What is the end goal here? When people are expecting different outcomes, they are filtering what they hear through that expectation, and it can lead to miscommunication. D, decide to be simple. Simple messages are easier to understand than complex ones. It's as simple as that. Review your email, your presentation, your proposal, and ask, how can I make this simpler? E, end with a summary. Summarize the main points of what was discussed and what the next steps are after the communication. A great strategy to keep the team aligned is to have one person write up and email out a summary of the meeting's main points and next steps for each individual. F, format matters. Face-to-face, email, text message, memo, report, and so on. There are lots of different ways to communicate. Have a complex idea? Sometimes showing people what you mean is a faster way to communicate instead of talking about it. Sometimes a short email is the best format. If it's feedback or a challenging conversation, give it face-to-face. The challenge is to find that format that is most efficient and also the most clear. G, give more, get more. One of the biggest causes of miscommunication is a lack of communication. It's a common sentiment among business leaders. They say, we want our people to communicate more, but our people already complain they have too many meetings. Well, refer back to the last point, format matters. Meetings aren't always the best format. It's true that most professionals feel they have too many meetings, but it's also common for them to feel there's a lack of communication on the team. So, what are some good options to increase communication without another meeting? Try a lunch or dinner, or a retreat away from the office. Start a book club at your office. That's a great option. Our 2019 reading list is linked below. These are all good options because communication is not just a one-time event, but an ongoing rhythm of exchange. The more often your people communicate, the less miscommunication they will have. And lastly, H, have difficult conversations. A reason for a lack of communication or for miscommunication could be a difficult conversation you've been putting off. Sometimes the conversation you need to have is the conversation you don't want to have. A difficult conversation is one where the outcome is important, people have different opinions, and it's easy for emotions to run high. If you're in such a situation, check out the book Crucial Conversations. It's on our 2019 recommended reading list, which again, you can find linked below. Now, let me do E, end with a summary. We covered A to H, 8 ways to facilitate excellent communication in your workplace. For the full list from A to Z, go to leadwithwords.com/ABC. Let me leave you with one more. I, initiate. Clear communication isn't just a skill, it's part of a team's culture, and a team either has it or doesn't. It takes initiators, people like you who are going to lead the team more towards a culture of clear communication. Pick one off this list of 8 or go check out the full list for more options and map out how you will start to bring this habit into your team's rhythm of regular communication. Thank you for watching this video. If you know other busy, ambitious professionals who would benefit from this video, go ahead and share it with them. And as always, we will see you in the next video.